Hello and welcome to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a puzzle with just an epic name today. Apparently it's a brilliant puzzle as well, of course. It's called War with Pythagoras, and it's by Jeff Wages. Jeff is one of those setters. I mean, actually the Sudoku world is full of people like this, but Jeff always comes to mind when I think of people whose brains just work in slightly different ways to the rest of us. His puzzles are always very interesting. Now this one I did find on Logic Masters. It's got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, a whole host of lovely comments, and the testers say it is brilliant. And it amuses me it's called War with Pythagoras. I have had a look at the rules before I turned on the webcam, and I don't see what the Pythagoras reference is, but no doubt I will be proved to be a fool momentarily in that regard, and I will read you the rules in a moment or two's time. What can I tell you about before that? Oh, please check out the last 2 days' puzzles on the channel. It's just been amazing. Friday's puzzle was Fistamafel, the return of Fistamafel, that incredible setter with an absolute doozy of a puzzle. And yesterday's puzzle, oh my goodness me, basically it revealed a truth about Sudoku that we didn't know, but it's a truth that exists in all Sudoku puzzles. The puzzle's by Justin Vitanza. It's called Parity. It is absolutely incredible, really incredible. And the video allows me to say one of my favourite sentences I've ever said on the channel. It's one of these mad sentences that occasionally seem to crop up only in Sudoku language, but really wow, just wow. So yesterday's puzzle as well is terrific. Now let me just have a quick look. By the way, my voice is still a bit dodgy. I'm sorry. I got ill on holidays, so it hasn't got quite its usual mellifluous tone. No, I know it's never mellifluous, but you know what I mean. Yeah, let me look at my list. Oh, yes, on the 1st of August, which is approaching relatively quickly, The Labours of Rostan is our new competition launching over on Patreon. Have I got a picture? Yeah, here we go. Oh, actually the picture is perfectly positioned as well. That's very unusual. Yeah, this is themed on that great Persian hero. Sort of memorialised, I suppose, in about 5,000 couplets of verse, if I'm not mistaken. So lots of Sudokus based around this legend, and yeah, it's coming on the 1st of August. The prize, as usual, will be a chance to make a Sudoku video with me that appears on the channel. Tomorrow night, we're revisiting the Blueprints Mansion. So it's been a bit of a hiatus while I've been away. Forgive me for that, but we're back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. UK time. Love to have your company for that. And then I've got birthdays to do, a couple of which I'm a bit late with, so apologies. But also, I will just say thank you to Andrea. It could be Andrea, but I'm going to go for Andrea, who found the channel a couple of months ago and has been kind enough. Andrea creates illustrations, and she's made a couple here. I really like them. I've probably got the size wrong. Oh yeah, let's just slightly correct this so that it fits. There we go. Look at this. There's me, there's my guitar poking out. There's the spider and the loud flying bee, Maverick outside, a 3 in the corner, a bobbins. That is me, you can see it says, and a mic thingy, being the technical term. So Andrea, that's absolutely fantastic. And there's also, that's a bit of an old style stereo. Where's that coming from? Oh, I see. Yeah, well, a bit. Yeah, I see why you think that's what that is. I've got my guitar amp down there. I don't know if that's on the camera. Over here, I've got my old stereo sort of loudspeakers, which probably do look a bit like this. But then Andrea also made one of Mark, so I got that one. Yeah, here we go. Let's move this one over and have a look at Mark. There's Mark's picture on the wall. This features whenever he's at his house in the Cotswolds. Let me just... This picture. There's, what have we got here? Sudoku trophies, the flowers painting, mark, and another 3 in the corner. It's just great. It's really great stuff. I love that, Andrea. So thank you very much for sending it in, and for tickling us pink. And right, next birthdays. I'm going to say Atreyi. It's your birthday today. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I know it's your birthday because your best friend, Andrea, wrote in and told us that the two of you met at university. Now what does that say? You've got to share. Ooh. Yeah, the two of you met at a university, and Atreyi showed you, Ananya, the Cracking the Cryptic videos, so she converted you. So thank you very much, Atreyi, for doing that. And I think you're about to start in the fall, or I should say the autumn, really, being English. You're starting your PhD over there in New Jersey in the US. So all the best with that. I'm sure it'll go fantastically well. Enjoy it, and many happy returns for today. I hope, of course, you get chocolate cake. Now, 2 people I hope got chocolate cake back on July the 20th were Kevin, who turned a secret age I better not reveal. Kevin, I know it was your birthday then because your son Eric wrote in and told us you've been watching since COVID. And I'm sorry I couldn't wish you a happy birthday on the correct day. But also it was another birthday for Olaf. And Olaf over there in Norway, I know it's your birthday because your girlfriend Oda wrote to us and told us that you watch every night to calm down, and the videos are like a lullaby, which again, I really like that. So Oda, thank you for your email. Olaf, I hope you had a great birthday on July the 20th, both you and Kevin. I hope the chocolate cake was very well iced. And with all that said and done, let us turn our attention and let us start our War with Pythagoras by Jeff Wages. The rules are as follows. We've got normal Sudoku rules applying, so we're going to have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, column, and 3x3 box. Adjacent digits along a green line must differ by at least 5, so these are so-called German whispers lines. So if this digit here was a 2, this digit has to be at least 5 different from 2, so it could be 7, 8 or 9. That's how German whispers work. Each pink line contains a set of consecutive non-repeating digits which can appear in any order. So if that digit is a 3, this digit has to be a 2 or a 4 in order to be consecutive with 3. In fact, both of the pink lines here can't have a repeated digit on them. They're both in the same box. Each grey line consists of 1 or more contiguous groups of cells, each of which sums to 10. These groups of cells cannot overlap, and each cell is part of exactly one group. So what we're going to have to do, for example, for this thing, is divide it into segments, non-overlapping segments, each of which sums to 10. I mean, so let's do something quite frivolous. I mean, we could do that, couldn't we? That could be one segment, and then we could have another segment, sort of 1, 9. That would work. I'll try and fill this in, shall I? It probably won't work, but let's go 2, 3, 5 there. Then we could do. Can we have another 3? We could have we could have 1, 2, 7, I think. 1, 2, 7. We can't have 1, 2, 3, 4 up there again, so we're going to have a couple of smaller combinations. 3, 7, 2, 8. I don't know if I've messed that up. I might well have done, but that's basically what that 10 rule is doing, I think. And hopefully I didn't mess it up and confuse anybody. And that's nearly all the rules. It says lines may share endpoints, but otherwise don't overlap. Oh, yeah, okay. So that's just saying that cell is on the green line and on the grey line, but the grey line doesn't go there, for example. Yeah, okay. That I think that makes sense. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play let's get cracking. And a bit like yesterday's rule set with the checkerboarding immediately made me think of something. And this puzzle makes me think of something as well. I'm trying not to give spoilers about yesterday's puzzle, but just in case you haven't had a try of it. But this must be Fistamafel, mustn't it? Am I going crazy? I mean, we've got the 2x2s in the corners full of lines, and we've got this thing. What do I mean by Fistamafel? I keep wanting to say Pythagoras now because of the title of the puzzle. But what do I mean by Fistamafel? Well, Fistamafel is a Sudoku theorem that tells us that this ring of cells that surrounds the sort of central 3x3 of the puzzle, there are 16 cells in that blue ring, and those 16 cells in any Sudoku contain the identical digits to these 16 cells found in the corner of the Sudoku. And you may say, no, that's impossible. Well, let me tell you, it's not. It's not impossible. I will show you why it's true. Let's think about how we do that. Let's do some shading quickly. This is the proof. I think this is the version of the proof I did in a number file video. So these blue cells that I've just highlighted, we can describe absolutely precisely what digits those blue cells are going to contain overall. We don't know how the digits will be disposed within the blue cells, but we know that these blue cells will contain 4-digit 1s, 4-digit 2s, 4-digit 3s, all the way through to 4-digit 9s. And you may say, how on earth do you know that? Well, that's straightforward, because that is a complete row of the Sudoku. So those cells there contain one set of the digits 1 to 9. That's what the rules of Sudoku tell us. Row 3 will contain one of each digit. The same is true of row 7. So those are one set of the digits 1 to 9. But this is a box of the Sudoku. So that's one set of the digits 1 to 9, and so is this. That's another set of the digits 1 to 9. So overall, the blue cells contain 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9. Now I'm going to highlight some different cells. I'm going to highlight columns 1 and 2 and columns 8 and 9. Now what are those orange cells overall? Well, they're 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9 as well, aren't they? That's 4 complete columns of the Sudoku. So the orange digits overall and the blue digits overall are the same. Both sets of cells contain 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9. So what happens then if we were to remove a cell that's in both sets? We have agreed, I hope we've all agreed, that the orange cells overall are the same set of collection of digits as the blue set of cells. So if I remove the same thing from both sets, let's remove this cell, what can we say about what remains in blue and what remains in orange? Well, it must still be the same. We now can't say it's 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9 because nobody's got any idea what this cell is going to contain. But it doesn't matter what this cell contains. We know that the orange and blue were the same, and we took the same thing out of both. And we can do that for all the cells that are in both sets. And there we go, QED. What's left in orange must be exactly the same as what's left in blue. Now I've just spent a few minutes proving something because I'm assuming it's relevant. So, okay, but let's think about what that means then. So this thing is, obviously it's divisible exactly by 10, because it's going to be a load of segments that each of which add up to 10. Now those 3 digits add up to 10, those 3 digits add up to 10, those digits add up to 10, and we don't know what those... Well, no, we don't know what they add up to actually. I was going to say they add up to 10, but they could add up to 20. If that was sort of 1928, it would add up to 20. But I mean, it adds up to a number divisible by 10. So 10, so yeah, so those cells as a collection are divisible by 10. So these cells as a collection must also be divisible by 10, because we know that overall the contents of the 2x2s in the corner is the same as this ring round the middle. Now, well, we know, no, we don't really actually. How do we do this? Maybe we've got to think a bit harder. Okay. I think we do have to think a bit harder. It feels like there's something going on there, doesn't it? Yes. I see. We're going to use the whisper. I really like this. It's very interesting already. This little dogleg here, this corner of this green line, that cannot be a high digit. And what do I mean by high digit? Well, let's talk about some of the principles of green lines. Maybe I should have started with the green lines, but I didn't think about it. Oh, no, I should have done. Oh, I didn't realise. Oh, I'm so silly. I'm just the most awful person. Oh, goodness. For some reason, my brain is so silly. Why doesn't it work? Okay, sorry. This middle box. I saw the discontinuation of the green line, and for some reason I registered this as I registered that grey line as capable of having a digit on it that couldn't be on a green line, and that's not true. And why does this matter? Well, there's a 5 in the middle of the puzzle. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh well, forgive me. I'll explain. A green line. Adjacent digits on a green line have to differ by 5, so can you ever put 5 on a green line anywhere? No, because what are you going to put next to it? You need a digit that's at least 5 different, and if you go up you get to double digit numbers, and they're not Sudoku numbers, and if you go down you get to 0 or negative numbers, also not suitable for Sudoku. So we simply cannot put 5 on a line at all, on a green line ever. So in the middle box, I just didn't see it. I'm so sorry. You can't put 5 on either of those because they are the ends of green lines. So the only place 5 can go, and there is a 5 in the middle box somewhere, is in the middle. Right. Okay, so now I actually think I should have started here and not with Vistamafel at all, because there are other things that we know about green lines. The first is, because 5 is never on a green line, we can think of any digit on a green line as either being below 5 or above 5. It has either of those two possibilities. But the interesting thing, don't joke, you can't, I know you've already been laughing at me, but don't laugh at me for this. I do think this is interesting, or at least a little bit interesting. You can't have two of the same quality of digits sequentially. So if this one is lower than 5, the next one can't also be lower than 5, because the furthest apart these two digits could be would be if they were 4 and 1, and they're only 3 apart. They need to be at least 5 apart. So what you find along green lines is they sort of oscillate to polarity around the 5. So the big trick often is to work out, okay, well, is this digit, for example, if that's high or low, it's going to determine the polarity for the whole line. So I suppose another way of thinking about it is that those 4 cells there are all either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the corner ones here are going to have the opposite quality. But that's going to lead us on to a second consideration, which is there are digits that are very difficult to put on green lines. And those are the digits 4 and 6, especially because 4 only has one Sudoku digit that's 5 different from it, at least, and that's the digit 9. So could you ever put 4 in any of those cells? No, because if you put 4 in any of those cells, you'll have to surround it with 2 9s, and that's going to definitely break Sudoku. So 4 must go in one of those positions in this box. But the same is true of 6. 6 can only go next to 1. So you also can't put 6 in the middle of a line. So those 2 cells there are a 4 6 pair, and 4 and 6 add up to 10, and that's why there's a grey line joining them. So 4 and 6 have to be next to 1 and 9. And because this line is continuous, we now need to think about the next hard digits to place, which are 3 and 7. Now 3 and 7 can only be next to 8s and 9s in the case of 3, and 7 can only be next to 2 and 1. So given that 1 is in one of those, one of these must be a 7, and given that 9 is in one of those, one of these must be a 3. And then these 2 squares are going to be a 2 8 pair to finish this off. So we don't know the sort of polarity. We don't know whether this is 4 or 6, but we do know that that is how the middle box will look. Right, but all of this has been a complete digression from where I started thinking, which was about this cell. Now, if this cell is low, the upshot of that is that both of these, by polarity, will be high digits. But these can't both be high, because you can't make 3 numbers add up to 10 if 2 of them are higher than 5. And there's no way that either of these is individually 10. So these 3 cells here are adding up to 10. They are not adding up, because we could make these add up to 20, but they wouldn't be capable of being split up into separate segments that each add up to 10, which is the requirement along grey lines. So because this is a 3-cell segment that adds up to exactly 10, this has to be high. And the same is going to be true here. And I think this might be important for the thinking we were doing around sort of those black cells having to add up to a number that's... Yeah, it is important. It is important. Because what we've worked out, this is really clever. Not of me. I've been anything but clever, I'm afraid, so far. But this is really beautiful. Right, these are 2 fairly high digits. We don't know what they add up to. The minimum is 13, the maximum is 17. But we know that the black digits overall are 0 mod 10, i.e. they have to add up to 10, 20 or 30. I mean, they can't add up to more than that, because even if that was an 8-9 pair, if this was 8-9 and this was 8-9, that's 34. So we're either adding up, actually, because these are higher than 10, we're either adding up to 20 or 30, aren't we? Now, which of those is possible? I'm actually not certain. Because these 2, if these were, let's say they were a 6-7 pair. Oh, hang on. No, we can't put... Actually, no, this is getting even more interesting. We can't put 6 in these cells, because that's going to cause these to be double 1. By the green line logic. If this is 7, that doesn't work either, because 7 is going to cause these 2 cells to be a 1-2 pair to meet the German whispers constraint of being 5 different. But then what's this digit? This line has to add up to 10, so this is going to be a 7 again. Oh, this is gorgeous. It's got all these hidden depths to it. So now... Well, now these are an 8-9 pair. So these do add up to 17. Which means these squares here either add up to 3 to make these add up to 20, or they add up to 13 in such a way, wouldn't they have to be 6, 7? Because there are different ways of getting to 13. We could have 4, 9, but this is a pink line. So these 3 digits are meant to be consecutive overall. So even if this was 5, 8, it couldn't be made, 5 and 8 cannot be made consecutive with just one more digit. Because 5, 6, 8 is not a consecutive sequence. So this is 6, 7 or 1, 2. And this digit is 3. Or, if that's 6, 7, that could be 5 or 8 to be consecutive. And it's not 5. That digit is never 5 because those 2 squares are meant to add up to 10. So that digit is now 3 or 8, and this digit is 7 or 2. Now maybe one of these doesn't work. Hang on, I need to think this through. So, if this is 1, 2, this is 3, that's 7. And 7 would be sufficiently different from 1 or 2. So this being low definitely works. If this is 6, 7, it would have to be in a very specific order. This couldn't be 6 because it can't be next to 1 here. So it would go 7, 6, 8, 2. 7, 6, 8, 2. Oh no. So which one of those is correct? Oh dear. I don't know. Wow. Okay. Okay, I don't know what to do with that. So let's fill these in. And that means what? So this digit in the corner and this digit in the corner are the complement. Right, the corner digits are relatively large digits. They're at least 5. Because imagine that this corner digit was a 4. We'd be adding it. These 3 digits would be selected from 1, 2, 3 and 4. And we can't make any 3 of them add up to 10. 4, 3, 2, which is the most they could be, would only add up to 9. So those corner digits are at least 5. Now, what on earth am I meant to do then? How am I meant to think this through? Sorry if this is obvious to everybody. I'm feeling a bit tense here, actually. Is it? I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, so I've got two. I've also got to think about this and making sure this works, don't I? So I've got a sort of 2-cell segment and 2 3-cell segments. And then, yo, this is really weird. Yes, okay, so I do have to think about that, actually. Yeah. Okay. Because what's going to happen here is, let's say that this was, I don't know, 613 or something like that. Then somewhere around here, there's going to be a 613 segment. That might be oversimplistic, but let's just think about it that way. Let's say that's 712. Then there could be a 712 segment. This is going to be, let's say, a 28. There's going to be a 28 segment. And then I'm going to be left with those cells having to be non-overlapping segments that add up to 10. And they're going to be made up. What they could be made up of is a sort of 9, 1, 8, 2 pair, 2 pairs like that, if this was a 1, 2 pair. And then these would each be a pair that add up to 10. And that would split 2, 2, 2, 2, and that would work. But the other possibility, actually, is that this is an 8-9 pair, and this is a 6-7 pair, and then I need this to be 1, 2, 3, 4 in order to provide the complements to these high digits, because the 9 here is going to need a 1. It's going to have a 1 from somewhere in order to make a segment adds up to 10. The 8's going to have a 2. But how do we know? Is this to do? I haven't even thought about Pythagoras. Why is Pythagoras in point here? What is going on? I think I've lost my marbles here. What is going on? I have no idea. Okay, look, I've overpopped. This corner digit can't be 9 or 8, can it? That's definitely true. Because this is a 3-cell segment adding up to 10. So, I don't see why 5, 6 or 7 are impossible, though. I really don't. Oh, this is really interesting. So what have I missed? I mean, that's going to be a 3-cell segment adding up to 10 as well. So that's got to have... That's got to have at least 2 digits from 1, 2, 3, 4 on it. Because if it didn't, if it only had 1 low digit on it, let's make that digit as low as we could, 1. 1 plus 5 plus 6 is way more than 10. So there's definitely 2 low digits on here. Two of the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4 are on that segment. And none of the digits 8 and 9 are on this segment. So this digit is not in column 9, it's not there, and it's not there. So that digit is either, it's in one of those 2 cells. That could be interesting. Let's just label that. So okay, so the corollary of that is that that digit is on one of those cells, where it will meet 8 and 9. The only way of making a 10 sum is going to be to add a 1 or a 2 to them. I don't think that's interesting enough, unfortunately. I suspect... Ah, no, I've got it. Yes, right. This has not been, maybe not the most smooth solve, but I am getting there. And I'm absolutely delighting. My brain is delighting me with being slow enough that when I find the epiphanies, they really are quite endorphiny. Right. What would happen if this was low? If this was a 1, 2, 3 triple? Well then, I've worked out that 2 of those are low. 2 of those are from 1, 2, 3, 4, definitely, to make this 10 sum work. 2 of those would be low, because they would be from 1, 2 and 3, and that's low, and that's too many low digits in column 9. Doesn't work. So actually, this is not 1, 2, 3. So this is... that's an 8 then. This has got to be 6, 7, 8. 7, 6, 8, 2. So the digit there in the corner is not a 6. This is going to have more implications though. I need to think this. Now I don't know. I'm just going to quickly change my... I want to try and record the fact. Actually, maybe we get rid of the blue now. I'm not sure the blue is serving any purpose. But this digit is down there somewhere, so I can get rid of the A. It could be here, I think. If that's 7, that's a 1-2 pair. That's not 2. If this is 5, then this is either 1-4 or 2-3. But, okay, this is where I want to look now. Because, yeah, this is, we know that this sequence and this sequence and that sequence naturally make up 10 sums. So how do we deal with the 9 that's in one of those? We can't borrow a 1 from that segment, for example, without messing up this segment. This segment could no longer add up to 10, so couldn't be made to work around there unless there was a replacement 1 in there. So the fact of the matter is that we can treat these as sort of sacrosanct and worry ourselves about how we're going to make 10 sums with the black digits, the 9, the 8, the 7 and the 6. And the only way you're going to be able to make a 10 sum with each of those, well, the 9's going to need a 1, the 8's going to need a 2, the 7 and the 6, they could be longer segments, but I don't think it's possible for them to be longer segments, because I don't think there's enough space around the perimeter. Let me just think that through. So if that's red, let's just say it goes there. If that's yellow, let's say that goes there. And of course you might say, oh well, you know, you could if that was a 5, you could use the 5 here, and then you wouldn't have to use those 2 digits. You could use some other digits from the 2x2s in the corner. Well, you could, but then you've still got to deal with how you make those 2 add up to 10 with something. So I think this logic is perfectly fine. We still need to find ways of accommodating everything. So we've got a 2-8 here. So let's put that there, for example. And because what I'm thinking, because when I did this before, when we were working our way round, I could see that what was going to happen. We've got a 9. There's going to be a 9 in one of those. So that's going to be a 9-1 pair somewhere. Let's just say there. There's going to be an 8-2 pair. Let's say there. We've only got 4 cells left. So it's not possible to pair this 7 up with a 1 and a 2 and take all of that space, because there wouldn't be enough space for the 6. The 6 would go in there, but it would add up to 6. It wouldn't add up to 10. So we're going to have to pair the 7 with a 3, the 6 with a 4, 2 more dominoes, and then we are perfect. So we need, for this 9, 8, 7, 6, we need 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're going to get those from there. And this is absolutely magic. This now can't have a 1 on it, because it would be a 1-2 pair and we'd have too many low digits in this column. In fact, it can't have a 2 on it for the same reason, or a 3. So you could maybe have a 4 on it, but only if the 4 was there, because the 4 would have to have a 5 with it, which obviously if this was the 4, that would be the 5 and it would clash. I mean, this, I don't think... let's just remember, this can't have very low digits on it. And I think, again, we can now get rid of our colours here. Probably. We can get rid of the A there, because we needed that to be orange. That's what we needed. Orange is in one of those 3. Now... what else? If this was 9, it's going there. Oh, I see, and that would be 1, 2, 3 or 4 across the whisper, and that's absolutely fine for that series. So how do we do this then? Or does it matter that that's a 2-8 pair or that's a 4-6 pair somehow? It's really weird that this is going to get disambiguated. It's all very well knowing what's on the Fürstenfell ring, which we now do, but how you dispose it exactly so that each bit of it adds up to 10? That's less clear to me. Okay, where's... Oh, no, it doesn't work. I was going to say, where's 9 in the column? And because 9 can't go on this segment, so it's either here or here. We can get rid of A from there, can't we? We're using orange to indicate what used to be A. If we... I don't know. There can't be 3 low digits on here, because it wouldn't add up to 10. By low digits I mean from 1, 2, 3 and 4. So there are exactly 2. So what does that mean? Do I know whether that's high or low? If this is... I'm not sure. Well, yeah, I mean, if it's high, it can't be 6, 7 or 8, so it must be 9. So it is either 9, which would go with 1, 2, 3 or 4. I think that's what it's going to be. Actually, it would be like that. Or this is 1, 3 or 4. Well, it's definitely... What it's definitely not is 3 or 4, actually. Because if this is 4, this is 9, and we can't make those 3 add up to 10. And if this is 3, this is 8 or 9, and we still can't make those 3 add up to 10. So this is 1 or 9. Now, if it's 1, that could be 6 or 7, I think. Oh, no, it can't. No, it can't. Because both 6 and 7, how are we going to make 6 and 7 add up to 10? 6 would need a 1 and a 3. 7 would need a 1 and a 2. So that's never 1. Doesn't work. So that is high and it's 9. That's absolutely lovely. It really is lovely. But it doesn't tell us what this is, because now I've got 8 and 9 down here. Okay then. No. Okay, so there's 2 low digits here. There's 1 low digit here, so this is a low digit. There must be 4 low digits in the column. Right, and the high digit on here is 5 or 7 then. If it's 7, this has got to be 1, 2, 7. If this was 1, 2, 7, that would be 3, 4, 5. And that would have to be 1. It would have to go 5, 1, 4. 5, 1, 4, 3. That might not work, but I can't see why not. And if it's going to be more or maybe it's not actually. I was going to say it's going to be more complicated if 5 is the high digit on this 3-cell segment. Oh, if it is, it has to go there actually, because of the 5 in the middle. This would be a 7, these would have to be a 1 and a 2, so it would go 7, 1, 2. Oh, so it would be a 1, 4 pair, so it would be 1, 4. I think that always ends up being a 3, whichever way round we did it, but it's a little bit bifurcated to notice that. I think there'll be something more beautiful. I just need to use my brain. Come on, Simon, use your brain. Use your brain. It's not to do with... I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. 5. Is it something to do with 1? Or no? Maybe it's... No, maybe it is, actually. How do you not have a 1 on that segment? If there's no 1 on this segment, it can't be 712, obviously, and it can't be 514, so it would be 235. And that doesn't work, does it? If that's 235, then this is a 7, and this needs to be a 1-2 pair. But the 2 of that 1-2 pair would go here in the same column as the 235. So there is a 1 on this segment, and there is not a 1 on that segment. Ah, nearly. That's nearly good. No, it doesn't actually. It doesn't at all. I was about to say it makes it hard for this to be a 9. Because a 9 in here would need to be next to a 1. So if that was 9, there'd be a 9 in there next to a 1. So this couldn't be the 9. If that was the 9, the 1 would be here. And that would be 523. In fact, it would be 532 exactly. 5. That doesn't work because that would have to be 721. Yeah, maybe so. Okay, I think there's more going on in this column than I've appreciated. I just need to think it through. Maybe I have to fully pencil mark it, which I know I shy away from. Let me just think about this. I don't know. I don't know. What about if that's 8? Then this couldn't be 8, so one of these would be 8. 8 would have to go next to 2. So either... okay, maybe that's how to think about this. Maybe what we have to do is work out... If that's 9... We can't put the 9 here. Could we put the 9 there? Only if that's a 1, but that looks like it can be a 1. So if that's 9, and that's 9, that would have to be a 1, and I think that didn't work. But for a complicated reason to do with this having to then be 5, and that being 2, and that not being able to be 127. Oh, maybe this can't be 127, because whatever that is, it doesn't work. If that's 127, that's 5. That's 4. That's 1. That's 3. Sorry, I'm sure that there's an... Oh, actually, no, maybe we do Sudoku. There's got to be a 9 in one of those cells. Maybe this is how we're meant to do it. No, that doesn't work. Well, it's no. When I say it doesn't work, it doesn't resolve. Oh, there's a 2 by Sudoku in one of those cells, because there must be a 2 in those 2 cells in that corner. It's hard as well. I keep looking at this and wanting to make this a 1 because it adds up to 10 then, but that's not... This is a green line rule. What are those? 1, 3, 4, 5. Are there? I wonder if there are any digits that are not on this line. There's loads of small digits. There's 9 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. There's 2 8s, 1 9, a 6 7, and then whatever these naughty digits are in the corner. Which is, unfortunately, tricky. I'm just not sure where the weakness is. I'm not sure whether... I'm probably meant to pencil mark more fully, aren't I? That's probably what I'm meant to do. I'm just loath to do it. Oh, come on, Simon. Is it to do with this 2-8 pair? Is that doing something? Oh, maybe. So 2 in box 6 is in one of 4 places. Do we care about that? If that's a 2... No, that could still be 7 or 5, I think. Okay, I don't know how to do this smoothly, so I think I'm going to have to do it in a little bit of an itty-bitty way. By trying to think quite carefully about, literally these options and work through them diligently each time. So that's going to be a bit case testy, which I'm reluctant to get too much involved in. I did always think this was 3, didn't I? Maybe I can prove that smoothly. Yeah, I mean, if this is 5, we know that the high digit on here is 7, so this is going to be 7, 1, 2. So this is going to be a 3 or a 4 with a 5. And the only thing it could be would be a 4, because this would then be a 1, 4 plus 1 plus 5 is 10. So if this is 5, this is definitely 3. And if this is 7, this is 2. So this is going to be 5, 1, 4, and that is still 3. So that is always 3. Well, now this has to... Oh, okay, that's fairly... If you go down this route, it becomes a bit clearer, look, because now, what's this? That cannot be 4, because that will be 2, and these will add up to 6, and that can't make it add up to 10. So that's always a 1, which means that is not a 1 for what that's worth, which might be little. Don't know. This is no longer a 1. And this is no longer a 3. I don't know whether I think whether this is going to be 1, 2, 7 or it's going to be 5, 1, 4. I'm not sure. What about... So if... Oh, hang on. That's quite interesting, isn't it? If this is 8... Because if that's 8, we can use the whisper a little bit. Because that 8 can't go next to 4. That's going to have to be a 2, which is going to make this a 7. But what I'm actually interested in there is that's going to force these squares to be a 2, 8 pair. And that doesn't work. Wow, I mean, it's really complicated, but it's quite pretty, that, actually. Oh, my watch thing is buzzing at me. Yeah, this doesn't work. Now, it's a little bit difficult to see, but so let me explain how I saw it. I know that this digit is in one of these cells, so if I make it 8, I have to, because this is a 2, 8 pair, it's going to have to be down here. And I know I've internalised the fact that 8 and 2 are going to be together on this grey line. Well, where are they going then? That is going to have to be a 2-8 pair. And then my question is going to be, where am I putting 7 in box 6? Because this is a 7 in the corner if this is a 1-2 pair. So 7 is going to go into that cell where it cannot go, because there is no possible fill for that cell. It can't be 1, 2 or 3. That's rather pretty. I like that. So, what does that mean? Well, what it means is that this is definitely not 8, that is 9. Which doesn't put pressure on this digit though. But it does mean 9 is in one of those cells, which is not here because we know 9 is... Ah, this is it. Right, now that can't be 9. Because that 9 is going to partner up with 1 to make a 10 sum. If that's 9, that can't be 1 and that can't be 1. So the 9 must go here. And that can't be a 1. So the 9 goes with a 1 here, and that's our first sort of thingy. The thingy being the technical term for 10 sum. How do we do? Maybe I just share. I don't know. I'll do it like that. There we go. That's our first 10 sum. In fact, maybe what we could do is we can tick them off. That would be rather lovely to do, wouldn't it? What I mean is we could do that, if you like. So we'll try and complete the Fistamafel ring gradually. So this is a 1, 9. That corresponds to that, is what I'm saying. Well, no. What I was about to say is absolutely not true. So I refuse to say it. Well, okay. So what do I do with this knowledge then? Well, hang on. What is the nature of this digit's 10 sum? Now you may say to me, because the work we've done tells us... Actually, I don't know. I'm not sure. I was going to say, is it possible that that's a 3-cell 10 sum? Because it would have to be 2, 3, 5, because it couldn't have a 1 in it. And then I was going to ask the question, but are there any 2, 3, 5, 10 sums? Because we know that we've got to sort of divide it in the same way that these are divided in order for it to actually work. And that's going to require that to be 5 and those to be a 2, 3 pair. Because this would have to correspond, I think, to that. Oh, that's an 8 actually. Let's use that. Oh, that's not a 4. That's not a 4. So if this is 5, this is 2, 3. If this is 6, this is 1, 3. If this is 7, it's 1, 2. Can we use that somehow? It's not obvious to me how, I have to say. Oh, look. The internal ring's getting resolved. Oh, this is really clever. That's huge. Because now we can use oscillation around the central ring. So that's now got to be 2, that's got to be 3, that's got to be 4, that's got to be 6, 7, 8, 9. Now what's that doing? Yes, that's making this a 2. Oh, okay, that's... I don't know if I was thinking that was likely or not. That's now a 4. So this is a 5 in the corner. So now there must be a 1 on this 10 sum. So that's a 1. This cell here. There's now a 1 in one of these two cells. And there's no 1 in either of those cells. And these two squares are 1 and 7, which is beautiful. And we know the order actually. Okay. So now what? Now what do we do? I don't know. Well, that digit is in one of those cells by Sudoku. But okay, yeah, I am going to use my logic now. I know that the way that this thing divides up is into basically a whole load of 2-cell segments corresponding to that 9, that 8, that 7 and that 6 all joining their friends, and this 2, 8, and 2 3-cell segments corresponding now to a 1, 5, 4 triple, which can't go there, and this, which is either a 1, 6, 3 or a 1, 7, 2, which also can't go there. So that is a 2-cell segment, definitely. That thing there. Oh. That is a 2-cell segment, and that's lovely, because now that can't be 3, 7, 1, 9 or 2, 8, so that's got to be 4, 6. Which means that's a 4, I suppose, using my logic. And that doesn't, the order of that doesn't seem to be resolved, but okay, but that makes that a 6. It makes these squares 2, 7, 8. That can't be 8. Oh, this must be... Okay, and that's a 4, 6 pair, so we can cross that off. I'm going to say that corresponds... Well, I wanted to do the 4 around here, actually, but I don't know where that goes to pair up with that 6. I'll have to use that one. I'll have to. Just pro tip. I'll have to do it that way. It's not ideal. I should have done the same thing there, actually. I should have paired that 9 with the 1 around there. So forgive me. But anyway, we're still. I think we're still alive. Can that? Oh, this can't be 8, because that would be a 2. That's the only way of making a 10 sum with an 8. So that's an 8. And if that's a 7, look, if that's a 7, what's this digit? It couldn't make a 10 sum because it can't be 1, 2 or 3, so that's got to be a 2. And that's got to be a 7. But that could be a 2, 8, I think. The only way it can be a 3-cell segment is if it's the same as this. So that would make this... Hang on, let's work this out. So if that was the 2 of this 3-cell segment, it would go 2, 6, 1. Oh, but there's a 6 here. Hang on, 2, 6, 1 doesn't add up to 10 anyway. That's nonsense. What I've just said is such nonsense. Well, no, it's not really. It is nonsense. No, it really is. It is nonsense, but the maths doesn't work. It doesn't. It's because you can't do it. That's the problem. If this is a 3-cell segment with a 2 in it, we know that the combination is either that one that doesn't have a 2 in it, or this one, which could have a 2 in it, but only if this is a 7, and that requires that to be 7, which it cannot be. So this is a 2-cell segment, and that's an 8. And that we can pair off with that one. That's exactly the same as those. I may not look it, but it is. And we know there's a 1 in one of those. But there isn't a second 9, is there? There's a 9 here in the 2x2s in the corner. But that's it. So this is not a 2-cell segment. This is a 3-cell segment, this one, with a 1 in it. Oh, but both of these have got 1 in, so it's either 1, 5, 4 or that one, whatever that one turns out to be. But it can't be that one, because this digit couldn't appear in the segment. So this is 1, 5, 4. I don't know if I'm doing this in the way that's intended, but it is absolutely magical that this is working. So that's 1, 4, 5. Let's cross off what I can't really cross it off because I don't know the order now. Well, the 5 is that one. And there's a 1 and a 4 down here that are getting crossed off. And And I don't know what I'm doing now. But if that's 1, 4, 5, this is 9, 7. Oh yeah, it's 9, 7, and that's good. Because if that's 9, 7, that's 6 in the corner. And therefore this is 3. So there's no 3 down here. And possibly we can do something with this, can we? So these squares are 4, 5, 2. That's not 5, that's not 4. 2, 4, 5. And I'm not sure what the right way to do this is. There's going to be one more 3-cell segment, which is either going to be there, there, or there. And it's going to correspond to 1, 3, 6. Oh, well, it can't be there, can it? That can't be a 3-cell segment because 1, 3, 6 won't work with the 1 here. So this must be a 2-cell segment. I don't know whether it... well, it doesn't involve a 2 here, because that would be 2, 8, and neither of these can be an 8. So yeah, the 2 can't be in either place, because it can't be... It's simply... This 2-cell segment cannot be 2, 8, because neither cell can be an 8. So this is a 2. This now is not 1, 9, 2, 8, or 4, 6. It's 3, 7. Oh, this is magnificent. 7 and 3 go in. The 7 is there. The 3 is one of these cells. Don't know which one. And that 2 can't correspond to a 3-cell segment, so that is 2, 8, and that's a new segment. And that 8's that one, and the 2 is one of those 2, I think. And so this must be 1, 3, 6, and that's got to be the 3 of it. 3, 1, 6. So those cells are the same as those cells. Now, the only thing I'm slightly concerned about is is this combination. 2, oh yes, no, that's fine, because 2 of these were purple, not 1, 2 of them were purple, corresponding to the 1 and the 4. So that's perfect, it has worked, it has worked. We have Fistimofel ringed it correctly, we just don't quite know the order of this thing. But maybe Sudoku can be our friend now. Kind Sudoku. Well, this is a 7, yeah, this is a 7-9 pair by Sudoku at the bottom of this column. So those squares are a 5, 6 pair, which we know the order of. It's probably going to be, this thing's going to probably be important, isn't it? Is it going to be even digits or odd digits on here, do we think? Well, let's think about odd digits. What's the odd digit? Is it a 2-cell pink line is a pair of consecutive digits. Now, therefore, one of those digits is odd. Now, neither of those digits can be 9 by Sudoku, neither can be 1, neither can be 5, neither can be 3. So this has definitely got 7 on it as the only Sudoku digit that goes with it. It can't go with 6, so that's got to be an 8. That's 7, that's 9. This digit is... Well, that's a low digit now, 2, 3 or 4, and seems to have to be 4, and that's magnificent, although it costs us a 3 in the corner, look. So that becomes a 1, 4 pair. This becomes a 4, 6 pair. These squares become 2, 5, 9. So that's a 2. That's a 9. That's a 5. That's a 5. This is an 8, and this is a something. 3. This is 3. This is 5. How does this 1, 4 get resolved? I really hope it does get resolved. This is 5. Hang on. I don't trust that deduction. I think that's nonsense. Sorry. I was getting carried away with seeing this 5 here. Oh, I really hope I haven't messed this up. And we aren't in the throes of a deadly pattern. Right, 4, 5, 6, 9 into this square. So that's 4 or 9. That's 5 or 6. 4, 5, 6, 9. That's 4 or 5. That's 4, 6 or 9. Oh dear. Oh dear. I don't think that would... And where's my Pythagoras coming into this? I've gone mad. Why is Pythagoras a thing? I don't know. I'm very, very confused about that. Okay, maybe we've just got to plough on with Sudoku. Come on, Simon. Let's look at the top row. 2, 4, 7, 9. 2, 4, 9. That's a naked single 7. So that's 2, 4, or 9. Does that help us? I rather fear it's not going to. Let's try the bottom row then. 1, 4, 5, 8. Yeah, the only place for 8 is here. This is 1 or 4, and that, if that's right, 5 can only go here in the bottom row. That makes this a 6. So that's still a slight win for the goodies, frankly. This is 1, 5, 6. Yes. Yeah, that's a naked single 5. There we go. Thank goodness for that. Yeah, that's at least got us unstuck a little bit. Yeah, it has got us unstuck. Good, good. Okay, so now this is 3. What do we need in here? We definitely need a 9, don't we? So let's put that in, and probably a 6. And then we should just correct our shading. Look, that one is definitely, this one is the yellow digit, and that one is the blue digit. And that sort of proves that Fistamafel is working. It proves that the contiguous thingies are working. And it might be the solution to the puzzle. Fantastic. That was a war. It was a war. I got bogged down at a couple of points in that, and I started it all wrong, didn't I, by not thinking about the green line. But what a puzzle that is. It's beautiful. It's really, really cool. My favourite bit was when I realised that this couldn't be 1, 2, 3, because it would put too many low digits in that column. And then it was fascinating to realise that you could actually... that had to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It couldn't be split into dominoes because the pairings wouldn't work. That's fantastic. What a fantastic puzzle, Jeff. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.